This is Susan Hall, the Conservatives' 2024 candidate for the London Mayor, and she's a well-known critic of this man, Sadiq Khan. I got to interview Susan and ask her about a lot of the things that she criticises Sadiq Khan for, whether that's housing, policing, or even just the role of mayor. As someone who usually places themselves on the left of politics, it was interesting to hear about these issues from a Conservative point of view. This is M.D.Johnson. I'm standing at the edge of Royal Docks in East London, where behind me in this massive glass building is London City Hall, the headquarters of Sadiq Khan. Today I will be talking to one of his main political rivals, Susan Hall, in that building behind me. I think I should start this interview with congratulating you on being re-elected as the leader of the City Hall Conservatives.
Thank you.
What do you think this role adds to your duties within City Hall?
Actually, it's about double the amount of work because we have many meetings between the different groups, and that's the leaders of the groups. Lots of decisions are made with the chief executive of the GLA, the Greater London Authority. They all have to be done as group leads. When we get new senior officers, we have to do the interviews. I'm happy to do the interviews to get different people into position. We have meetings with the chairman of the association of the GLA. So there's lots of additional meetings, all of which I am more than happy to attend.
So the Evening Standard recently described you by the thing which you used often in your election campaign last year, which was the one Sadiq Khan fears. Do you think this still represents your relationship with him today?
Yes, we don't really have a very good relationship. I ask him questions, he finds every which way he can not to answer them, which irritates the life out of me. I am there asking questions on behalf of Londoners, and he should have the courtesy of either answering properly or finding out the answers. But if you've seen videos from our meetings, you will see he dismisses all of us, well, particularly those of us from the Conservative Party, because he just doesn't want to answer. So we do have a strained relationship, if you want to put it that way.
So would you say there's an issue with him obstructing you and other Assembly members from properly scrutinising him within the Assembly?
In as much as he just doesn't want to answer, and so he often won't.
Having run for London Mayor last year,
Yep.
What do you think that helped in your understanding of what a London Mayor should be?
There were aspects that I hadn't delved into as much as others. I am passionate about policing, and I always have been. And therefore, I'm very on top of the policing brief. And actually, I've gone on the fire brigade management oversee for, since 2010. So I understand the fire brigade very, very well. And I've always been involved in the budget process here. So I know those subjects inside out. But things to do with the London plan and housing and that, I had to get really up to speed on. So it did me a power of good standing for the mayor, because I then got a broader understanding of different issues that I don't normally come across. And it gave me the incredible opportunity to talk to people all over London. I spent 7 days a week aiming to be the Mayor of London. I desperately wanted to do it, despite people saying that we couldn't win it. It was really important to me. One of the things I really wanted to change was funding for the Metropolitan Police, and I'm mortified that the Metropolitan Police is having a cut in their funding now. They would never have had that under me, there's no question. We need more police officers on our streets, not less.
So, as the chair of the Police and Crime Committee, what would you say you're doing right now to try and get Sadiq Khan to fund the police better rather than cutting it?
Okay, one thing from this morning's meeting, I'm no longer the chair. We alternate them. No, but I will be again next year, and I'm very much on it, and I'm deputy chair this year. We can just bring attention to the fact that more resource needs to go in there. We can't change the budget. You can only change budget once a year. But we bring it to people's attention all the time that not enough funding is going to the Metropolitan Police. In the committee, we all look at different aspects, whether it's public order policing, which is something that we've looked at this year, and I've done a report. I mean, I'm well known for the fact that I'm very concerned about the Notting Hill Carnival. It's a victim of its own success, with 2 million people going to it. The roads are far too narrow for it, and I do fear there'll be a catastrophic incident there. And then we've also been looking about violence against women and girls, which is, I mean, it's very topical at the moment, but you know, it's something that we should really be making sure that we keep people safe. And these grooming gangs, rape gangs, whatever you want to call them, I find it so hard to believe that there aren't any in London, given the fact that we've got 9 million people living here. So it's important issues like that that we will look into.
So, would you say there's any areas in which you think the London Mayor maybe is being effective in his role?
Sadiq puts an awful lot of money into the environment, which is to be applauded to an extent. But when targets are already met and still millions and millions of pounds go into it, when we've got a police service that is absolutely craving for more resource to go into, it's all very well if we can have clean air, but when we've got our kids being stabbed on the streets, you have to ask yourself, is that the right allocation of funding? And it's in areas like that that I really have serious issues with him and his judgment.
Do you feel that the message of the Conservatives in London resonates with the younger generation?
Oh, I'd love to ask you, what would you like to hear? Because we have all, as political parties, got to engage with younger people more. One of the things that we've got to do is make sure that we get more affordable houses out there. There's no doubt about that, because one of the saddest things to me is that we're getting an older city because young people cannot afford to live in London. And that's shocking. You know, a vibrant city has got to have people of all ages living in it. And if we're looking at nightlife in London, which is absolutely going down the pan because of lots of decisions Sadiq is making, we won't have younger people coming in to have fun in the evenings and go to the pubs and the clubs. And the city will die if we have that. And we've got to look at that. If you've got visitors coming in, if you've got, you know, a healthy economy, it's got to include young people. So if anybody knows the answer to how we can engage more and in a better way with younger people, I would beg them to come and talk to me and tell me what it is young people want us to do and want to hear us saying, we will do that, we will, you know, we will look into that, we will get involved in what you want. Because unless young people tell us and get involved in politics, they might not get out of politics what they want. You've got to be in it to win it, is an old, you know, cliche, but it's true. If young people don't get involved in politics, they won't be able to move things towards the issues that they consider important. Because if we don't hear those voices, we can't necessarily know what young people want.
As, say, a young person like myself, how would you say would be a good way of getting into politics in London to try and make it better than it is, especially when you think about things like housing, which often feels out of our reach when it comes to affecting it? How would you say would be our best way of starting to change that for the better?
Well, I would say to any young person watching this, it doesn't matter what party you support, if there's a party you think really fits in with your beliefs, and look into it, then go and find a local association and say you want to join. And have they got a youth movement in that association, or instead of just a borough, maybe they've got a national or a London one or whatever, and try and get involved with like-minded people, and then go and then stand for being a councillor. That's the way you will change things. I mean, I am more than aware that the biggest issue in lots of respects for younger people is housing, because you can't afford to move out of home and get your own place. I get that. The mayor is not spending the money that my government gave him, billions of pounds. When we ask for information on how many houses are being built, we're told how many houses are started. You can't live in a start. A start could be a hole in the ground. We want to know how many homes have been finished so we can hold into account on that. But he has been given billions and billions of pounds to do this. I would say this will be one of his biggest failures, because I don't suspect that he'll stand more than the rest of the next 3 years. But I would say housing and, of course, policing are his biggest failures.
Would you say you yourself have any plans in the future to move forward in maybe running for London Mayor again?
No, I won't. I will leave that to somebody that's younger. It to take it on. It's a year of 7 days a week. It's and that's morning till late at night, because you go to associations and talk to people. Um, I was deeply sad I didn't win, because I wanted to make a difference. It was the only reason I went on to do it.
Yeah.
No, I'm quite happy to finish out my career leading the Conservatives on the in City Hall, making the Conservative message clearer out there, and hopefully people know and understand what we actually stand for. We do actually stand for working class people who want to get by, who want their kids to have a decent home, who want to be able to work properly, to go out to the pub at beyond 9 o'clock at night, which is when so many places are closing down now. We want them to inherit a really decent, wonderful place to live. And London is fabulous, but for younger people at the moment, it has many failings.
So you've sometimes criticised the mayor for prioritising media moments over real change. Where do you think the area is in which he has failed most in this regard?
Sadiq Khan is full of press bites, if you like. I'll give you one example. I think it was last week, or possibly the week before. I think it was last week, launching a report that the cross-party London Assembly had done on the in the police on violence against women and girls. I came down here to see ITV. We were doing a film about it, and Simon Harris, who covers ITV for London, said to me, "Are you going into the meeting?" And I said, "What meeting?" Sadiq Khan was doing a summit on violence against women and girls. Well, I'm chairman of the committee here, didn't know anything about it. He literally went in for sound bites and filming, and then off he went again. Violence against women and girls, we have heard, people have come in and told us, it's at epidemic levels. It is so serious. And yet he comes in, has his photo taken, does a few shots, and off he goes. And as leader, as chairman of our Police and Crime Committee, didn't even know it was on, let alone being invited. I mean, that says it all. I could give you so many examples, but you've got to get home tonight.
Well, thank you so much.
You're very
That
welcome.
was very useful. I think any young person that's watching this can understand more about what the London Assembly is and what you do within it. So, thank you.
No, thank you for asking me. Thank you for coming.